From powering web servers to running cloud platforms, Linux is everywhere.
It's time to learn the key steps that can help you build a successful Linux career and stand out in this high-demand field.
You know what I like about Linux? It's one of the few platforms, infrastructure, you name whatever you want to call it, which is an operating system, of course, that has been relevant for so long and keeps on being more relevant. Do you notice all coding languages, they
come in and
they
out
come
of.
and go, but Linux has been around. Of course, it has evolved from Unix to Linux, but the core idea of Linux in general is only growing in relevance. Did you notice that?
Yeah, especially with cloud, it's more and more used.
Yeah, people don't realize that nowadays there's more Linux operated machines than 10 years ago for multiple reasons. Because cloud is the new thing now, and most cloud servers are running Linux, and also the Internet of Things, all things around you.
Everything that has an IP.
Everything that has an IP most likely runs Linux. Your fridge, what else?
Your Tesla.
Your Firefox, your Fire Stick.
Yes.
Your TV, your
smart
microwave,
TVs,
your
yeah.
smart TV, your microwave, your smart
Fitbits.
your smart fridge. All these run Linux. So the relevance of knowing and understanding Linux is growing as we have more of those devices. So that's what I like with Linux, and why I think it's still a very important skill to have. So the other thing I like about Linux is that the foundational portion of Linux, the foundational knowledge, is somewhat stable.
Yes.
Of course, there are always going to be updates, new versioning happening every year almost, or just about, especially in Red
Small
Hat.
things get updated.
But the foundation of how you utilize it, how you move
or
around.
the principles behind
The
them.
principles and how you move around the operating system
Yep.
is very stable and still relevant. So that's what I like.
And even when you go, like in the Linux world, we talk about distributions. And you'll have like the Ubuntu's or the Debian based distributions, and you'll have the Red Hat Red Hat based distributions. They are different, like where some files are placed, or the names of some files, the names of some applications may be different, but at the end they do the same thing.
Not only they do the same thing, the learning curve
Exactly.
from one distribution to the other.
If I've installed a package in Ubuntu, learning how to install a package in CentOS will be easy.
Well, I think another analogy is driving. If you know how to drive a Honda Accord, and then you go on another car that's not yours, that's an SUV, for example, it might take you a few hours, a few days to be comfortable with it. But it's the same way of driving.
I have a different analogy. If you learned how to drive a stick shift, it's going to be easier for you to know how to drive an automatic vehicle.
As opposed
to the opposite.
Yeah.
So, and I would compare that with Linux versus Windows. If you only learn how to do something in a graphical interface,
yep,
then getting
by
you
dragging and dropping
Exactly.
and clicking, yep,
that being the automatic vehicle, it's going to be hard for you to pick up driving a stick shift. But if you started with the stick shift, or if you started with Linux, it would be way easier to learn these other things.
Yeah, and the good thing about Linux too is that it has a few solid certification to back it up, because not all tools, not all coding language have certifications to back it up.
Or technology vendors.
Or technologies in general. Linux has the Red Hat suite of certifications and the CompTIA suite of certification, which is the Linux Plus. So so these are the things that make Linux relevant, ever more relevant in the marketplace. And the network of people engaging in Linux is getting bigger. When you go on Reddit, when you go on online in general, the platforms, the people contributing to that open source project is getting bigger.
And that makes our jobs as tech professionals easier, because anytime I've worked on a project that has been like a super edge case, I've been able to find somebody else that did something similar and wrote about it.
Yeah.
And that makes my life and my team's life easier.
So guys, not only Linux is still relevant, but it's growing, and it's a very important skill to have if you're trying to break into tech.